our Cayman Islands Music Association was established in 1981. It started a bit late because quite a few of our very talented Caymanian voices and Caymanian instrumentalists had passed on before. However, it was timely. Hence, we have been celebrating much about who we are in terms of voice and art. This evening, we are going to be presenting a number of awards to distinguished individuals who have contributed to the Caymanian music scene over time. We've got Lifetime Awards. We've got a Young Musician of the Year Award. We have an International Success Award. We have got a Song of the Year Award. And we've got an Icon Award. We've got Lifetime Membership Award. Our Lifetime Membership Award qualification starts with 50 years of continuous performance, being a founding member or a charter member of the Cayman Islands Music Association, and also being a past president or an icon. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for joining us quietly. Thank you very much. I'd also like to take this opportunity to welcome our member of the Legislative Assembly, Mr. David White, who will soon become parliamentarian. David White. He is a member of parliament for Georgetown. I'd also like to ask you at this moment for you to bow your heads as we say a word of prayer. Father, we thank you for life. We thank you for the privilege of enjoying our journey now. We thank you for music. We thank you for art. We thank you for the Cayman Islands, which, though small in number, has been blessed with many, many talents. Tonight, we celebrate these talents because you've allowed us. Give us wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and help us to enjoy this performance. In Jesus' name, amen. At this moment, I'll invite our president of the Music Association, Mr. Sean Eric Smith, to join us on stage as we sing the national song.
Please stand. Oh, land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair, with thy Creator's glory reflected everywhere. O sea of palest emerald, merging to darkest blue. Whene'er my thoughts fly Godward, I always think of you. There, verdant island set in blue Caribbean sea. I'm coming very soon. Oh, beauteous isle to me. Although I've wandered far, my heart enshrines thee yet. Homeland fair Cayman Isle, I cannot thee forget.
Thank you very much. Tonight also we will be enjoying performances by a number of musicians while we do our awards ceremony. I would like to, at this time, say thanks to the presence of youngsters who are placing music on the international scene in the name Cayman Islands. The Goldfire Awards, thank you so much for your presence. We'll be mentioning you a little later on. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to present to you the president of the Cayman Music Association, Cayman Islands Music Association, Mr. Sean Eric Smith, who is a Gold Medal of Merit awardee and also a Gold Heritage Cross awardee. Please pay your undivided attention to President Smith as he comes forward. A round of applause.
It's Heroes Day weekend, so I'm proudly wearing some badges that we don't rise and boast, toast, Yeah, coffee. Good evening, everyone, fellow musicians, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is my distinct privilege and honor to once again welcome you all to the CMEA's 12th annual Muzaic Awards ceremony. Before I go any further, I'd like to ask us to please observe a moment of silence. And I'd ask us to once again stand in solidarity to remember our fellow musicians, Mr. Hinton Connolly of the Brack Beach Boys, and also Mr. Stanley Stano Ebanks, percussion player from West Bay of many of our local bands, including most recently my band, Local Motion 345 and Swanky. And also for any of the other brethren that we have recently lost. Could we please stand and bow our heads and have a quick moment of silence? Thank you. Tonight I put on the full armor of God so that I may take my stand against the devil's schemes. Ephesians 6:11. Can I get an amen? Thank you. Please be seated. Last year in my annual President's Address, I was upbeat and optimistic. With my previous exec of 2017-18, the CMEA annual revenues boasted a 100% increase. We had gone from out of the red into black, which is an accounting term for things are going good. We're on the uphill and climb. The CMEA annual revenues had not only increased, but we had just successfully worked along with the Pirates Week National Festival to reintroduce the National Song Competition with $10,000 as a cash prize. None of this could have been accomplished without the Ministry of Culture, but it was the efforts of the CMEA that brought this to the forefront. This was as a direct result of our role in the creation of the National Heritage and Cultural Policy, which was spearheaded by the Ministry of Culture. And for the first time in a long time, it seemed to me that the future of the CMEA would continue to burn bright. This is a future that was built on the strong foundation of the past of our founders, not one that chose to deliberately destroy our foundations and heritage to attempt to build a future. Sadly, this is not a problem that is exclusive to the local music community, it seems, but unfortunately is now an island-wide and more of a national epidemic. Out with the old and in with the new seems to be the common theme around our islands today. And with the new architects of our future showing complete or utter disregard for our ways of the past and the contributions we have made therein, this is simply not acceptable. This, my friends, is a colossal mistake. And as history has revealed, with previous failed attempts with that same disrespectful approach, it's completely wrong. So what do? Do we give up? Do we give in? Do we walk away from defending the right and the rights that collectively we have fought for so hard and for so long to establish? Or do we fight? Well, since quitting is not in my nature, I am sure that my answer to the question is clear. I'm a hippie whaler. So we will not go quietly into the night. We are musicians, and tonight with the successful execution of another Muzaic Festival weekend. This is a testament to that fight. And from this stage, I proclaim this victory, and the victory will proceed. Unfortunately, it seems that vision was not shared by many of the new members of the 2019 CMEA exec. And after their first year, just think about that, your first year coming on board as an executive, they have chosen in poor taste to sabotage all of the efforts to present the Muzaic Festival weekend. That is unacceptable. This year, and God forbid, if they should really be selected to lead the CMEA, it will surely be the end of the Muzaic forever. That's something to think about when you come to the AGM on March the 1st. And I'm not campaigning, I'm just giving you the facts. Why is this important to continue, you may ask? Why is it important to have this award ceremony? Well, I would once again like to remind you that 10 years ago, 11 years ago to be exact, the CMA didn't even have a presence on the local music calendar, much less a calendar event such as the Muzaic Festival. It's taken 12 years to create and carve this event on our calendar. Think about if we were to abandon it now, how long it may take us to reestablish something like this again. Unfortunately, but truthfully, in the past it seemed as though we were just a theoretical association of musicians, languishing on the outskirts of the cultural umbrella, trying to make matters, and to make matters worse, it appeared as though live music, musicians like Mr. Henry Leslie, put your hands together for Mr. Leslie, please. It seemed as though musicians and live music, which the CMEA had been originally created to defend 37 years previous, had been defeated and overcome on the local entertainment scene by technology and the advent of the DJ. No one wants to hire a band anymore. No one wants real live music. Everyone seems to just want a DJ who's going to come in and play records. Unfortunately, that is something as well that needs to be addressed with our current intellectual property laws. There are many, many regulations that need to be put in place to level the playing field once again for the player of live music. Similarly, our grand finale to the Muzaic Festival weekend tomorrow will feature 3 of our local member bands performing live on the national stage in Heroes Square, post-Heroes Day Awards being given. This is a true testament to our positive and ongoing relationship with the Protocol Office, the Ministry of Culture, and the Cayman Islands government in general. We therefore give thanks publicly to all I just mentioned, particularly the Protocol Office, Radio Cayman, Hurley's Media, the Caymanian Times, and the Ministry of Culture. And we thank you all for your support of this year's Muzaic Festival. Last but not least, to all CMEA members, musicians, DJs, and technical support who volunteered their time and services for this year's Muzaic Festival, I say thank you. You know, if you weren't on the beach on Friday night, at the public beach where we had the DJ showcase, you wouldn't understand what it means to stand up. The police came at 7:30 because the neighbors complained about loud music. I sent them away. I said, nah, man, you can't complain at 7:30. That's not right. Come back at 12 o'clock. We're not turning down the music. This is our public beach. It's our right. You have a right to peace and quiet. And I also have a right to enjoy our public beach and a right to celebrate our national heroes. That's what this weekend is about. What are you going to do about it? I say you support the Muzaic events. Next year, you make sure you come out to the Muzaic Festival weekend. All of the events, not just the award ceremony. You come out to the DJ showcase. Bring your wife. Bring your kids. It's our public beach. It belongs to you. If you don't do that, And I can tell you what's going to happen soon. I'll prophesy that. It'll become another hotel. And you won't be allowed to go there either. So figure it out. Truth. Unfortunate, but true. However, it could be better, speaking about the relationship with the Cayman Islands government. And I hereby, again, ask the political leaders of today to ensure that entertainment, particularly new live venues, are considered. We need more places to play. It used to be Royal Palms, La Fontaine, Galleon Beach. You had Inferno. You had the Blue Horizon. You had on and on and on, you know. We had venues to play at. Holiday Inn. However, it could be better. It really could be better. And I'm asking for more live venues to be considered, recommended, and approved, particularly for all new hotels. You shouldn't be able to get a hotel license in the Cayman Islands unless you're going to follow the old format. You have to have a nightclub in your hotel for entertainment, for your clients and your guests, and that creates work for local musicians and exposure for local artists. That's important. So all new hotels to be developed on the island should be required to have a venue, as there's a lack of proper live music venues on the island now compared to yesteryear. We're going backwards. More live music venues means more jobs for local musicians and a base for a stronger social fabric of integration to be woven into our communities. Yeah, that's where we rub shoulders together. That's where when you came to the island, you got to know the locals, you got to know how the locals operated, and everything was irate, everything was cool, you know? A stronger social fabric of integration to be woven in our communities and their tourism product. This would truly be a renaissance of the live music conditions of yesteryear, and that is something that we all seek. In spite of our many regrettable personal losses, the constant public backstabbing by fellow execs of this year's CMEA, and their ongoing obstacles, I am happy to report that overall, we maintained in 2019. We didn't grow, but we maintained what was there. And hopefully, with the democratic election of a new exec this March the 1st, we will continue to grow again in 2020 because there is still much work to be done. Regrettably, in the Cayman Islands, musicians and entertainers are still the only professional vocation without a government-enforced pension plan or insurance. That affects many of our elderly musicians, some of whom we're giving lifetime membership awards to tonight. These guys have played for 50 years. Think about it. Most jobs you'd have retired a long time. Why are they still doing it? Because they have to, but also because they love it. Mr. Howell, 105. Why is he still doing it? Because we love it. That's what we came to do. So as a result of this, many of our ailing musicians of yesteryear consistently have to reach out to the CMEA for assistance. This, therefore, suggests a problem and one which must be solved. However, due to naysayers, particularly the backstabbers on this year's CMEA Executive Committee, this year, the Sounds of Love, our answer to the problem, our annual benefit concert, didn't take place. Needless to say, it is with great disgust that I have to report this to you. But unfortunately, the truth is not always good news. Remember that. The truth is not always good news. As a result of the many untimely losses of our musical peers in 2018, we created a new calendar event in 2019. A Night with Legends was created from an old idea to honor vintage bands of yesteryear. It was all about the bands yesteryear. All about the bands. Settlers, Radley Gazong and the Happy Boys, Strong Hands of Tomorrow, Humble and the Meek, MOJ, Juveniles, Network Band, Desperados, so many bands. So last year's Night with Legends honored the bands of musical icons Mr. Wesley Howell and Mr. Alan Bunny Miles. I'm talking about the Caymaneers and the Tornadoes. Hopefully this year, if the naysayers are not elected to take control of the CMA, we will once again be able to continue this event and honor the Settlers and Radley Gazong and the Happy Boys. Two more of our live local bands of yesteryear who deserve the accolade. They worked for that. Unfortunately, the current government budget was unable to once again include funding for the popular Harbor Night Street Festival, created by Youngblood Productions in 2017 in association with the CMEA, as in previous years. This year, with the new executive board that will come on, we will continue to strive for the revitalization of Georgetown through music and entertainment, not through aesthetical change. Georgetown needs a heartbeat. It needs a soul. It needs life. It needs entertainment. It needs music. It needs something for people to do. It's the most beautiful capital in the Caribbean. Though the CMA does not have an official office yet or in headquarters, I would once again like to thank Mr. Ralph Lewis of the Caymanian Times, who has kindly donated his boardroom to this current exec for our weekly meetings. I know I have said this every year in this president's address, but I am still optimistic and looking forward to the day when the CMEA finally has an office, a headquarters. Could be a little 12 by 12, but it needs to be something. Somewhere where we can conduct business and call home. I still look forward to the day when the business leaders of our community and the government of the day no longer just pay lip service to this music as an art form, but recognize the true value of music and its integral role in our cultural heritage and growing tourism product. I am still hopeful. All of our annual events, and particularly a niche event such as our Muzaic Festival weekend, which has taken over a decade to create and position on the local calendar, not only bring about immeasurable public awareness of the CMEA as a body, but also highlight the wide and varied array of talent within its membership, while selling the experience to the discerning tourist and visitor. Not just a destination, an experience. That's what Caymankind is supposed to be. Anyway, let me cut this short. As you are all aware, we are really here tonight to honor all those who have paved the way to this milestone and built the foundation for those who continue to blaze the trail towards international recognition of our music and our islands. That is what the Muzaic is all about. To date, we have honored 120 of our peers and created 13 musical icons from among our colleagues and our peers. Tonight, we will continue to build and grow by honoring the many musicians and DJs who have contributed countless years of professional service and other enviable works that will surely live on for future generations to come. My fellow musicians, individually, we all aspire for respect, some for recognition, some for greatness. As my friend Junior Gong says, everybody wants to be somebody. But only together can we truly be the force that our music needs and deserves from us in a growing island nation such as our own. Our role locally and that of music internationally is social harmony. And universal unity is a fact that can never be questioned or denied. I therefore challenge you all to rise to the occasion with harmonious voices. Let's sing from the same hymn sheet. Let's build the CMA and go forward. Continue to build. This is truly our finest hour, and without all of you here tonight, the Muzaic Festival would still be but a dream. Please give yourselves a big round of applause. And remember, your continued cooperation and best efforts are always truly appreciated. Enjoy the award ceremony, everyone, and God bless. Long live live music and the CMEA.
Thank you very much, Mr. President of the Cayman Islands Music Entertainers Association of the Cayman Islands. Music is an important part of our culture, as with any other part of the world. You are sitting in a theater established back in the mid 1980s as a result of significant effort when our population base was only 15,000 people. You are sitting in a cultural village which includes our National Gallery next door, which was established about 7 years ago in its present formative structure. Music has continued to be a part of expression, a part of our liberated expression, regardless of political flavor or persuasion, spiritually, or in any way hindered. Thoughts, thoughts on every aspect of life is expressed in music, and so much here in the Cayman Islands as well. I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us tonight. Please give yourselves a round of applause for being here. An important award for up and coming musicians will be presented by the 16 bars to LA Big Harv and Epiota. The award this evening to the young musician will be coming up after our long service awards, and then we'll have an international success award, and then we'll be having a song of the year award. Later on, we'll be having a performance by Palante. Then we'll have an intermission, and then we'll be coming back to enjoy the rest of our program. So that's a view of our lineup. Later on, we'll be talking about our icon band. We'll be talking about 6 lifetime awardees and our icon award in finale. Our long service award is going to be presented by Mr. Edlin Miles. Mr. Edlin Miles is one of the charter members of the Cayman Islands Music Entertainment Association. He has also been an active musician, comes from a musician's family where more than 2 members of his family have been involved on the musical scenes over many, many years, starting in the early 60s. Please give your hand to Mr. Edlin Miles as he comes forward to make 4 presentations to long service awardees in this CMA Awards program. Mr. Edlin Miles.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome tonight. We appreciate you coming out here tonight because it's a very special occasion. As far as music goes, and entertainment on the island, what can I say? It's been a long, long time I've been involved in this thing, over 50 years. Think about it. I look like, 40? What he said? Patting myself on the shoulder. That's cool. I feel that way, though I feel young. I'm about to make some presentations to some awardees here tonight, so I would really appreciate you give them the applause that they deserve when they come to the stage. The first long service award that I'm about to present tonight is for Mr. Perry Smith. But unfortunately, he's not with us tonight because I think he's off island. But just to let you know a little about Perry, Perry was only about 12 years old when we brought him into the music, on the music scene. Me and my brother, Bunny, we had to take him from home from his parents, and at the time, we had to assure the parents that Perry had to be back home. We had to not only take him from the house, but we make sure that he was brought back to the house. Perry, a drummer, he was playing drums at the time. Now he's a frontliner. That's what we call a frontliner, the man up front singing. And Perry now sings and entertains with Los Tropicanas. And you can see him entertain or hear him entertaining at Peppers, I think, mainly. That's where they entertain mainly, at Pepper's restaurant. So without further ado, I'd just like to, on his behalf, he's not here, congratulations to Perry on his long service award. Another recipient of the long service award in the music business, he's also a past president of the Music Association. I'm not sure if he's here tonight as well, but if he's here, I would like him to come up and stand. And it's no other than Mr. Spencer Merrin. Is he here tonight? He's not here, but give him a big round of applause. That's Mr. Spencer Merrin. Another recipient of the Long Service Award is no other than the man who was up here before, Mr. Sean Eric Smith. Before we talk a little bit about Sean, I'd like you all to give him a big round of applause because I think he deserves more than that. Mr. Sean, can you present yourself to the stage, please, so we can give you your award for long service, an excellent job in your position. So you do it. In Honduras, the people will say, "How we do's it." No offense, please. How we do's it.
This is how we do it.
Woo! You know what I'm talking about. Give it up for Sean. What can I say? You've heard more than what I could actually say tonight about Sean. All I know that he's a brilliant leader. He's a brilliant entertainer. And Sean has the guts of a tiger. He will fight for you if you're scared. He'll fight for you. But I'd like Mr. MC to give us some of the script on Sean, or MC, Mr. Carl Brown.
I'm Sean Eric Smith, otherwise known as Notch, has been prolific on the music scene. Now there's great difficulty at times to be a leader while being an artist. And sometimes there is a bit of pain with either. However, talent usually succeeds beyond challenges, and Sean has been involved on not only our local music scene, but has been able to travel around the world representing the Cayman cultural thread. We'd like to thank Sean for his commitment from formative years, and his length of service is as long as his hair. And like to hopefully would like to have his hair continue growing long for his service to continue to the Cayman Islands. So please give a round of applause to our president, Jean-Eric Smith. That is the French pronunciation for the word.
Thank you very much. I gave a lot of awards over the past 12 years, and I figured that it was time to actually, well, my name came up several times, and I said, no, it's not my time yet. It's not my time yet. We've actually run out of names to give the Long Service Award to, so I'm actually at the last of the list currently. This piece of mahogany means a lot. I'd like all the young musicians in the house to still be doing this 25 years later to make sure that they get their piece of Cayman mahogany. Yeah? Very important. Thank you so much.
At this time, I'd like to call on Emilito and Big Harv from the West. Please come forward. They are the winners of the song competition, 16 Bars to LA. And they'll be presenting. And they'll be presenting to Nail Arana, our Young Musician of the Year. Please come forward, Nail. So Nail is an up-and-coming Caymanian violinist. He has served as the fiddler for the Cayman National Folk Singers, and he's participated in the Butterfield Young Musician of the Year competition several times over. He's also played the soundtrack for the Cayman Drama Society's Diary of Anne Frank production. Currently, he is studying mathematics and computer science in the United Kingdom, but he can be heard playing at various events with Bonafide Cayman whenever he returns to the island for vacations. He also produces music electronics for YouTube, where he has a channel that has 87,000 followers, subscribers, and millions of views. I'd like to invite Nail to come forward, thanking him for he's not here, so there's somebody here to take, his dad is here, a proud dad. So go ahead and make a presentation. Yeah, turn around. Please. You would like to say something?
Thank you very much. I wouldn't be necessarily classified as young, so just for complete transparency, I am Francis Arana, Niall's father, and when he called me, and when your child calls you from overseas, you panic, because you're not sure what's happening, but luckily it was the good news that he called me to express that he was being given an award, and not being in the Cayman Islands, that if I could pick it up, I said, oh, I'm so relieved and happy. But he just wanted you all to know that he was very, very humbled by the experience, and gratified, feel very, very happy, excited that he got this award and the recognition. So on behalf of Nail, I say thank you to CMEA for this award. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a young Nail Arana coming up, and he is using both sides of his brain. Music, it is said, furnishes a lot of energy to help you to maximize your intellectual performance and music itself brings alive the entire mind to be able to command the exploitation of scholastic ability. So we look forward to a lot more coming from a young scientist and a young musician. Our next award is made to is going to be presented by Josh Pearl. Josh Pearl, are you here? I'd like for you to come forward. Josh is coming. And this award will be going to Rico Oret. Rico Rolando, sorry. Now, Rico is here as a part of young and up-and-coming musicians who have been able to place the Cayman nameplate, nomenclature, on the international scene. He is a part of Goldfire Records. And he was born in the Cayman Islands and began singing at a tender age of 12 years old when his mother, Nina, discovered his talent. Nina, all right, is a remarkable musician on her own, and her iconic voice is wedded to the national song being played at night on Radio Cayman. And I worked with Nina at a newspaper back in about 1984 it was. I was an editorial cartoonist, and I was able to witness Nina's musical talents now distilled in her offspring, Rico. Now, over the years, Rico has been involved in a lot of international programs involved with Alicia Keys, Pop Kane, Spice, Kamani Marley, who's part of the Robert Nesta Marley clan. He's been involved with Chronix, an up-and-coming singer in Jamaica, Becky G, Jeremiah, and most recently, Rico was on the stage at Kaboo, which was an international platform enabling us to project to the world. In late 2018, Rico was driving on the West Bay bypass when a vibrant family of 4 blasted his song Sideways through their car speakers. From there, Rico Rolando had dinner with this family and soon discovered that his life would be changed forever. The record label 5 Goldfire was born with the combined forces of Rico, Vasco, Leo, Tech Mugel, Frank Schilling. From the creation of Goldfire, a total of 10 Caymanian artists were signed to the label, including acts like Ofre, Josh Pearl, Cottrell, Lonnie Love, and Theodoro. Now, if you happen to have listened in any way to any of their music, your hair would stand on end because of the significant international quality that they have brought to the international sound of the Cayman Islands, but also for the fact that they are young Caymanians with our accents. Rico recently released his debut album, Taurus Truth, in November of 2019, which has been streamed over 1 million times and skyrocketed to #1 on Amazon Music globally, beating out acts like Celine Dion, Taylor Swift, Ed Sheeran, and more for the coveted top spot. Rico continues to make hit after hit with the help of his side head producer, Vasco, and is currently working on his sophomore album, T2. His up-and-coming album will be sure to lead you to a new layer of his sound, and will pull you into the world of a Taurus. Please welcome our up-and-coming rising international star, Rico Rolando. We're looking for the person who's going to be doing the Ladies and gentlemen, please do not deprive yourself of the opportunities of getting these autographs because they're going to become valuable in a not too distant future.
Thank you. Hello, Cayman. Hope everyone's doing good tonight so far. Um, this award for best international success has definitely really shown me that no matter what you do in life, like anything is possible. I could remember, obviously, when I was 13 years old and singing at my mom's concert, that I never thought that all of this would really happen, and to see the really success of not only just myself but multiple artists like Josh, Teodoro, Lonnie Love, Vasco, Cottrell. There's just so many of us that are up and coming, and it's just a really good opportunity. But I would also like to thank my label, Go Fire. It started last year with only myself and Vasco, and now we have about 10 local artists so far, so it's definitely a great pleasure. My mother, my grandmother, of course, my family and friends, my father, my management at Go Fire, also my other label artists, Teodoro, Cottrell, Lonnie Love, Vasco, Oprihe, Josh. It's definitely a pleasure to be working with all of them. Also the Cayman Music Association. And then also all the OG artists. There's so many of us that have really risen before me and have really proven to me, like when I was 13 years old, I just wanted to be a part of the Is. I just remember growing up and I was like, you know what, one day I'm going to be a part of the Is. And unfortunately that didn't happen, but they definitely mentored me into this position that I'm in right now. So thank you guys as well. Also the new up and coming artists. There's so many of us now that are 13 years old that's recording from their own room, that's their own producer. So big up to you guys as well. And beyond talent, it really just takes a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of networking. But once you're in the position that you're in, it's also a good help to push others in that direction because you don't know like how they're feeling or what's going through their mind of where their talent may go. So definitely big ups to everyone, and hope you guys have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rico. Looking forward to hearing a lot from you and your crew. This crew has left a significant fingerprint on the international scene in a very short time. They're all, sorry, they're all Caymanian youngsters. They have had a dream, and now they are working to make sure it comes through. Please do your curiosity and go online and look for their music. You will be amazed at the lyrics, at the significant messaging that comes through. And please listen to Radio Cayman when they're interviewed because they are and have been very much remarkable in representing Caymanian youth in a sense that has not been highlighted enough in and around our community. So please, round of applause to international stars. Our next award goes to the Son of the Year, which is Lonnie Love. The presenter is Mark Lee of Z99. Mark represents one of our local radio stations that has become an important part of music genre and segmentation in the Cayman Islands. Please welcome Mr. Mark Lee, who is going to make a presentation to Lonnie.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a privilege to be here representing Hurley's Media tonight and, of course, representing Z99 as well. When I first arrived on Ireland and was very blessed to be here, just coming up towards 3 years ago, I was astounded by the talent that we had here in Cayman. I heard songs on the radio when I first joined Z99, and they sounded like incredible international artists that you would hear every single day. And I remember asking my fellow colleagues, at the time, oh, I don't necessarily know this artist. And, where are they from? And they said, they're from here in Cayman. And I was just astounded by the talent, the songwriting skill, and the overall sound of the music that our local artists here in Cayman were producing. Over my time here over recent years, I've had the absolute pleasure to meet all of these artists from here in Cayman, and to see them nominated this year for Song of the Year, for Local Song of the Year, is an absolute privilege and a joy. I get to call a lot of them friends now, and that makes it all the more amazing to see them on this stage as well. So earlier on in this month, the president, Mr. Notch, and I would like to thank the association for allowing us to be involved as well, came to Hurley's Media and all of our radio stations, Z99, Bob FM, REFM, and of course Rooster 101, and said we'd like to put your skills to reach out to the community and the public here in Cayman to decide Song of the Year. From the list of songs that we play, especially on Z99, we created a short list of candidates that we've played over the last year from 2019 into 2020 that we felt were very deserving. The nominations this year were indeed Lonnie Love's song, Waiting for You, Rico Rolando, who you saw up here a moment ago, Sarah McTaggart and the rest of her team that make up Transviolet, the Hamptons, Ben Hudd and the lovely Shamika Clark, Lucky, the very talented Danny Loops, and Rock With Me, Teodoro, All This Time, and the amazing winners of the Cayman Rap Competition, produced by Ben Hudd, Jay Nez, Big Harv, and M. Lito, Ain't Nobody Like Her. That list, absolutely, that list of artists that you just heard there represent some of the very best that Cayman has to offer. I'd also like to thank Frank and Sam from Goldfire, from the record label, the money, the time, and the effort that they've invested in our local artists is absolutely phenomenal, and I'd like to thank them very much for starting Goldfire and recognizing the talent that we have here in Cayman. Last year, our winner, who you saw him on this stage a little bit earlier on, was Josh Pearl with Honeyed. It was a great song. People loved it on Z99. And you would be amazed the number of text messages and WhatsApps that we get into the studio asking for our local artists here. And especially on Z99, we play a local artist every single hour throughout the day, every single day. And that's something that we are very proud to do, and we feel very honored to do as well. I'm very blessed, like I say, to know these amazing artists and having interviewed them many times. The work that they've been doing with the record label, with Goldfire, and the rest of the team and the association, and Notch just champions our local artists all the time as well, is really incredible. And the success that they're having on the international stage is truly heartwarming when you look at the different platforms and the different ways people can consume media now, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Spotify, whether it's listening to the radio, whether it's using things like smart speakers like Alexa now. There's so many choices, and the number of streams and the number of listens that these songs have had really prove the quality and amazing talent that our local artists here in Cayman have. So it's a great pleasure. We put out those 7 artists to the people of Cayman. It wasn't down to me to decide because, to be honest, I'd never be able to choose because they're all so talented. And we asked the people of Cayman to vote via the websites at Z99, at Bob and Rooster and Irie. And the votes were just astounding. The number of people that were voting for these songs was incredible. And it brings me great joy and much happiness to ask Lonnie Love to join me on stage for Local Song of the Year as it goes to Waiting for You. Lonnie Love.
Waiting for You, Lonnie Love, on his way to international stardom.
I'm actually really surprised that I won. But I'm so grateful, and music has always been a great part of me, and it's always been me sharing my story in lyrics and in melody that basically words can't express that the way that melody can, and music has been my freedom. Every time I do music, it allows me to feel like I'm living. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to have put out one song last year with all the hard work I've been doing last year to really showcase in this year to have it win Song of the Year. So I can't wait for everyone else to hear what I've been working really hard on with the team at Goldfire. And again, I'm so grateful. And to all of the young upcoming artists that's been doing their music, you guys are so talented, and technology is becoming so much more cost effective that you can literally do what major stars do from your bedroom, like what Rico was saying. And being a part of the Is as well, and just seeing that all through, and Rico saying what he said earlier when he was 13 and wanted to be a part of the Is. I think that's awesome, and it's great that you guys are doing this and lifting up the homegrown talent here in Cayman, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to have won Song of the Year. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, do not miss the opportunity of seeing this gentleman's shoes. Another bit of his expression as an artist. That voice print will never leave you. That deep bass, please listen out for a lot more coming from Lonnie Love. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your patience. We are continuing our award ceremony, and we're going to be blessed with the sounds of Stuart Wilson. Stuart Wilson has been a performer in the Cayman Islands for the last 15 years. He started part-time, and then he decided to make it a full-time career. He's a man of diverse talents, and he has been a band member in about 4 bands. He's traveled overseas and traveled in Thailand and the United Kingdom, and he has been part of our media scene as a writer and a news reporter and a broadcaster. Please welcome Stuart Wilson, who will be bringing us tunes that we can probably remember of him. One significant lyric that he had brought to fore was, "I would like to rule the world for a day." And I'd like for you to go on YouTube and listen to that song. It is remarkably put together lyrics, music, and is a remarkable example of Caymanian talent. Stuart comes from a family of artists. His grandfather was a significant contributor to commercial art in the Cayman Islands from the 1960s coming up through the 1970s. Many of the billboard advertisements that were available at the time, and many of the graphic designs were designed by his grandpa. Stuart is now distilling that, translating art into music form. Please give your hands a round of applause to Stuart Wilson as he comes forward to do his part.
Oh, Cayman Islands, that's the place to be. And though I may cross the foam, you'll always remain my home. Stingray Bunburns and Stingray City, and so much love in every district. Under the stars we unravel the mysteries. Oh, Cayman Island, that's the place to be. Oh, Cayman Islands, that's the place to be. And though I may cross the foam, you'll always remain my home. Though I may cross the foam, you'll always remain my home. I know a place in the sun where every day people make haste to come. 3 little islands in the deep blue sea. Oh, Cayman Islands, the place to be. Thank you. I think some of you guys may know this one, you know. The guitar's not plugged in. I see Jupiter and Mars from far, and Saturn too. The Milky Way looks bright tonight. We were created to shine too. Oh, the world loves a child when he smiles. Oh, the world loves a child when he, whoa, we're looking for love, but is there hope? This world is a place that can be so cold. There is one suggestion I'd like to propose. I'd like to rule the world for a day. If I did that, be love and peace and no more fighting. I'd like to rule the world for a day. Every month would feed, there'd be no more greed. We'd all do the right thing. 'Cause if I did, everything would be okay. I'd teach them science and biology, give them all a chance. How can one youth stand still and another dance? Oh, the world deserves to smile for a while. Oh, the world deserves to smile for a while. We're looking for love, but is there hope? This world is a place that can be so cold. There is one suggestion I'd like to propose. I'd like to rule the world for a day. If I did that, be love and peace and no more fighting. I'd like to rule the world for a day. Every month would feed, there'd be no more greed. If I did, everything would be okay. Let's trade some way somehow. The future is right now, yeah. Think I just figured it out, hey, yeah, yes, yes. Thank you. Well, I wish you could hear my guitar. I know I. So, thanks so much, Carl. Everybody's talking of a new generation, new sensation. And everybody's treading on their own vibration, own inclination. I feel for you, my love. I feel for you, my love. I feel for you, my love. Together we are living in a new vibration, new creation. Perfect situation for a new generation, new creation. I feel for you, my love. I feel for you, my love. I feel for you, my love. And all of a sudden there was love everywhere. We never seen it coming, but we know that it's there, yeah, for me and you and me. I feel for you, my love. Said I feel for you, my love. Ooh. Yes, I feel for you. Together we are living in a new vibration, new creation. Perfect situation for a new generation, new creation. I feel for you, my love. I feel for you, my love. Said I feel for you, my love. Ooh. Yes, I feel for you. Bless up.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to Stuart Wilson, who has allowed himself not to be deterred by, by the challenges of technology. And also a bless up to Asta, who stepped in to enable Stuart to deliver for us this evening. We're about to do two sets of awards. One is 6 Lifetime Member Awards. I'd like to invite Mr. Edlin Miles, one of the charter members of the CMEA. And he's going to be doing the awards, and I'll be trying to distill our biographies as we go along. Our first award this evening, our first Lifetime Award. And by the way, to qualify to get a Lifetime Award for the CMEA, you had to fulfill a number of criteria. You had to either be 50 years a continuous performer in the Cayman Islands and the Cayman music scene. You had to be a founding member, a charter member of the CMEA, or a past president, or an icon. Our first awardee is Robert Bob Ebanks. And I'd like to invite Robert Bob to come forward. Robert Bob has been playing drums since the young age of 16 years old. He has a passion for music, and it is a part of his hereditary, as his grand aunt, Julia Hides, who was a musician, a poet, and a remarkable drummer. Also, our oldest, Caymanian icon, and she was one of the 100 icons who've been awarded by the CMEA, and she passed on. So she distilled some of her DNA to Bob. He's a father, and he's contributed significantly to the music scene in the Cayman Islands. He's played in various bands throughout the Cayman Islands as well as performed overseas. Some of the earlier bands that he played with in the 1970s and later years were the Humble and the Meek. Anybody remembers them? Shout out. The Tornadoes, Strong Hands of Tomorrow, Memory of Justice, which went international, Network, Cayman Edition, In Transit, and Absolute Joy. The more recent ones are Local Motion and the band Regeneration, which started about 1967. Bob has performed overseas in places such as Texas, Belize, as well as in Cuba Disco Festival in Cuba. In addition to his contribution to the music industry, he's performed in the opening bands as an opening band for some of the most famous groups and artists who have visited the Cayman Islands, some of which are like Maxi Priest, Third World, Freddie McGregor, Barry's Hammond, Calypso Rose, Morgan Heritage, and Alicia Keys. He's also had the privilege of performing at Cayman's first jazz festival held in 2004. He also assisted as drummer with some local artists with the production of their albums. Bob hopes his dreams will become a reality one day, as he is presently working towards an album that he believes could make the top of the charts. Bob is a Caymanian and a part of our musical cultural scene. Today, he's been given a Lifetime Award by charter member Edlin Miles. So I'm going to ask you to recreate that scene right over here where someone will be able to take a photograph, please. Okay. Now, the Cayman music scene is remarkable in its vibrant fabric. There are very colorful individuals in the music scene, and one of them is Astor Ebanks, otherwise known as Asta. He started playing drums in his mom's home, and he says that he started playing drums while he was in utero, in the belly. He believes that that is the truth. And from that time as a baby, he has been tapping and banging. That's Astor. In the early days, my mom was a seamstress and used to order cloth from the Sears Roebuck catalog, and that was where I saw the first set of drumsticks. Before that, we used to take her bath pan, turn it upside down, and in the early 50s, there was a small set of bath pans dedicated to us so that we could play them with small bits of gravel. In other words, they had music in their heads and they utilized every available asset to them, which was small. I would then get about 1.5 foot tall, put in the ground, a bit of wood with a hammer. And my dad was a carpenter, so he sawed a piece of wood and got a Jamaican cheese can and placed on top of it, and it became a symbol. Bob Ebanks. And I used to go to the bush and use pieces of zinc as symbols, and also use oval-shaped old sardine cans and use them to make guitar sounds. I went to school from 7 to 11, and then I went to the Northern Keys on the boat with Denham and Captain Keith Tibbetts. At 12 through 13, I came back to Cayman and started working in the construction business. I was 17 when I bought my first official drumsticks. I've played with the Caymaneers, Ken Davis Combo at the Holiday Inn, Eric Smith, Nerdy, Backbeat Band for the last couple of years, Rennie Connolly, Richard Powery, Rex Watler, Regeneration Band, and many others. Ladies and gentlemen, Asta, otherwise known as Astor Ebanks from West Bay, he's going to be receiving a Lifetime Award. We invite Asta. Asta is the lady is coming back shortly. Now, the Regeneration Band was a remarkable band started in 1967. And it used to play at the Holiday Inn. And if you give me a minute, I'm going to do something very special, which is not on the itinerary. This is an original LP, 33 record speed. It has never been opened, and it is the Regeneration Band of the Royal Palms, and it featured at the time Alan Miles, lead guitarist, Eddie Carter, rhythm guitar, Cliff Ebanks, organ, Darrell Dakers, bass guitar, and Elvis McKeever from Cayman Brack on the drums, Edlin Miles, he was the vocalist and the percussionist, and also a de facto leader of the band. There was Gerald Rankin, and it was recorded at Le Jardin Lounge at the Royal Palms. Now, for those of you who are too young to know about the Royal Palms, it was a hotel that started in 1967 and was our first officially internationally branded hotel, which began about early 1967, when those roads were still chalky, and then there was La Fontaine also. But Royal Palms is now the Ritz-Carlton. Royal Palms is where we had the privilege of having a movie called The Firm, which I'll refer to later. It gives me great pleasure to hand something that has survived Ivan and many, many challenges, a complete original album to one of the original band members, Mr. Miles. This is a keepsake forever. Had the privilege of securing that at one of our thrift shops. And,
Thank you.
And I have been able to turn over one to the National Archives of the Cayman Islands for posterity. Now, I think Asta is here.
Thank you.
Please come, Asta. We were waiting for you, but you were probably trying to get a bit of zinc to make another symbol. So we talked about you.
Hey!
Very colorful.
Can I hear you? Okay, then.
Please give a round of applause to Asta Ebanks from West Bay for his Lifetime Award. And I'd advise you to seek these individuals out and give them a hug, and also get their autograph and a photograph, because they are from the old school. Very colorful. Thank you, Asta.
What do you want me to say now?
In shape, boy.
Just say one word of thanks. Thanks.
Yeah, boy. My head about that size now. I think they were so long coming, right? That I was like, is this really happening to me? And someone said, yeah, man, you go get your award. And I said, yeah. And I got dressed up like a fashion model. I got dressed up with this and that. And then how a shirt flying, and then a necktie, and this all kind of hat. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. I feel, yeah. Yeah, good. Yeah. Yeah.
Asta.
I mean, I've been at this thing a long time, you know. Huh? I've been at this thing a long time. I was like 17, 18 when I got my first drum set. And I started playing and playing and playing. But guess what? The truth is, I became a drug addict. And 20 years of my life was not in this. After I came out of rehabilitation in 2007, I went to an event by the Westin, and Gary Ebanks' trio was playing, or his little combo was playing. And I said, "Can I sit in?" And through Gary knew that, nah. He said, "I don't think so." But I got behind the stage and I could reach up to the drums.
I hear you.
I could reach up to the drums, and I was doing so well just reaching up to the drums that he said, "Come sit down." And I went behind the drums and I played, and he said, "Get yourself a set of drums and join my band."
Give it up.
And I just started playing, and other musicians and stuff say, "Moho, you sound good enough to join my band." But I'm not a player. I'm just a jammer. I just jam. If you ask me to play a song note for note, maybe that wouldn't happen. Huh? But I am very appreciative of this opportunity to. What the hell you giving me?
Here. But usually, you make the speech after you get your award, but
You're good.
you're good.
Yeah, but I didn't know. No getting informed.
Anyway, Asta, on behalf of the Music Association, it's a pleasure to give you this.
No told me how to be how to do this, you know.
Yeah, no, you just do it as you see. You know. Congrats.
Thank you very much, Asta.
Give it up.
Come over here. Come over here. Somebody will take a picture right there. Thank you very much, Asta. Colorful thread and vanishing colorful thread. Our third award goes to Mr. J.R. Douglas. He is not here to receive his Lifetime Award, but he played in the high school band with Philip Bodden, Eddie Carter, from the 1970s through 1975. Okay, good. And he's been performing from 1973 when he was playing in Cayman. He's played all over the island and plays at Peppers during the weekend. J.R. Douglas, thank you very much for your contribution, and somebody here will be...
Good evening, everyone. I'm the lead singer in the J.R. Douglas Band. So he's off island, so he asked me to collect his award for him. So thanks to everyone for this gesture. My name is Wayne Brown, by the way. Thanks for this gesture, and God bless.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Our next award goes to Jamich. Mitchell Mitch Olson Ebanks, Lifetime Awardee. He's from West Bay, and he's been known as Jamich from ever since. He is a singer, songwriter, guitar arranger, producer, a native son of the Cayman Islands. Jamich was influenced at an early age by the guitar playing of his Cuban father. He has performed internationally and has shared the stage with greats such as the late Dennis Brown, Big Mountain, Morgan Heritage, Beanie Man, Beres Hammond, to name a few. Jamich has recorded 3 albums to date and has written some of the Cayman Islands' timeless compositions. Anybody here to receive on behalf of... So the president will receive on behalf of Jamich, one of our icons. Lifetime Award.
Mitchell Olson Ebanks, MOE. He calls himself the Master of Education. Yep, MOE. I just want to say, yeah, Mitch has dedicated his entire life to his guitar. It's truly a labor of love, and I think that it's well deserving at this time that he joins the lifetime members. Mitch has been a member of my band for the past 20 years, and yeah, well deserved, Mitch. I think hands down, you're one of the best guitar players the Cayman Islands has ever produced.
Our next recipient, Leonard Bodden, is receiving a Lifetime Award this evening. Leonard Bodden was first introduced to the guitar by his father at the age of 14. His father taught him G, C, D, those three guitar strings. His mother also played the piano in the home, and he learned to play by ear. During his lifetime, Leonard has performed as a bass player for the band the Marcianis. He's been the lead guitar player with the Humble and the Meek, alongside performing with the Memory of Justice. And he's also played keyboard with both Network and Mainstream Band. Some of the venues that Leonard has played around the island include the Blue Horizon nightclub, the Club Inferno, Island nightclub, and Holiday Inn and the Galleon Beach. Holiday Inn is now replaced by the Ritz-Carlton and Galleon Beach by the Westin. We'd like to thank Leonard for his contribution and for being around so long and being a part of the Cayman Islands music scene. Leonard is from the district of West Bay.
I just want to say one or two words about Leonard that I know of that wasn't said. I think Leonard first started playing, I first heard Leonard playing with the King Bees. You remember that? The King Bees. Yeah, which became the Humble and the Meek after. But the King Bees were Ed Solomon, Leonard Bodden, Richard Ebanks, and John Henry Ebanks, and Michelle Wells on rhythm guitar. So a little history back then, and I remember that back then because I was so inspired by the King Bees at that time. Leonard, it gives me great pleasure to present this award to you on behalf of the Music and Entertainment Association. It's a pleasure. You want to say something?
Thank you very much.
That's all you want to say? You want to say something?
I would like to thank everyone who made it possible for me to receive this award. I want to give thanks to all of my supporters through the years. I would like to make a brief demonstration on the 5 lines and 4 spaces of music. Wherever we go, we have that staff with us. This is 5 lines and the 4 spaces are here. That's the staff. Thank you very much.
See, I've learned something new.
Ladies and gentlemen, we invite to the stage Henry Leslie. Henry Leslie is a very colorful personality from Belize. He came here in 1972, and by that time he was still a guitar player. He played keyboard, and he was with a famous band in Belize called the Lord Rayburn Band. And And 2 days after arriving in the Cayman Islands, his uncle took him to Apollo Club. Anybody remembers Apollo? Apollo was in North Side. And he played with Bonnie Miles, the brother of Edlin. Bonnie was a part of Regeneration Band. And then he played with the Pappy Connolly Band. And then he played with New Experience Band. Then he formed his own band, Henry Leslie and the Burning Alps, which was interesting because the Alps really don't catch a fire, but that means his music is so hot. Then there was a forming of MOJ, of which Henry was a contributing keyboard player, and the original persons were Edward Solomon, Lammy, Seymour, Tabio, Leonard Bodden, and himself. Now, Henry has gone on to play with the Barefoot Band at the Holiday Inn, and there were many a night at the Holiday Inn that some of my business associates and some of my clients were regaled by the band that Henry was a part of. And some of the successes in business I could attribute to the beautiful music that formed part of the background. Henry went on and is now a solo player, and he plays at Peppers, and he plays at Rum Point. But Henry is immortalized in the movie called The Firm, where he was part of the band that was part of the scene of with Tom Cruise dancing at the Firm, which was filmed in Memphis, Tennessee, but filmed in the Cayman Islands at the old Holiday Inn on the site of where we have the Ritz-Carlton. So Henry the movie star and Henry the musician, and you can Belize it, which is his expression. He's Belizean Caymanian. So Henry has his daughter here, so we know he's going to live for another 100 years playing music. So Henry Leslie's daughter now continues the musical tradition by playing in a 15-piece band at the Emsley Memorial Church. Please give Henry Leslie a round of applause for receiving a Lifetime Award from the CMEA.
Henry, I worked with you in the music business for many years. And from 72. Wow, that's a long time ago. Very brilliant musician, gifted. On behalf of the Music Association, it gives me great pleasure to present this award to you for your service to the industry. Long term, yes.
That is priceless. Can I get, yes, please. We need a photo of you hugging your daddy again doing this. This is priceless.
Oh boy. Where do I start? Well, I'm going to start now. Like saying, I really appreciate the awards I've been given from the Music Association. This is my third. I'm so honored. I'm not gonna cry. We, like myself, Edlin, and all of the older musicians, we have paid our dues through good times playing, bad times playing. We play sometimes at some place we don't get paid. We all been there. But all I want to say thank you all. My wife is here, my daughter is here, my friends, my sister, and for all of I'm sorry to my musicians that I grew up with playing. Michael Hyde, he plays with Big Mountain, and also play with Ziggy Marley. We're both Belizean, and Junie Crawford. Very talented musicians, keyboard players. And I want to say again, thanks to everybody that came out tonight. I'm a little saddened. I had a bad day today. I've been suffering from bad back for the last couple of days. And today watching CNN, one of my favorite basketball players died, Kobe Bryant. Still can't get over that. And one more thing, it's so sad that with all the bands we have in Cayman, all the band members, once a year, right here, once a year on a Sunday, they don't come and support us who are receiving our awards. This is very prestigious. Very prestigious. I would like to thank Natch, who started all of this. Also, Mr. Calbrang tonight for master ceremonies. And all my fellow musicians who are here, who received the awards. It's good to be here. I'm here every year opening for this show, every year. I had a bad car accident a couple years ago, a big thing around my neck. I was still here playing. I showed up. You know why I showed up? Because I'm a true die-hard musician. I'm a Belizean, Caymanian, you better believe it. And I'm proud to have my daughter, my wife here, my sister, and our friends here tonight, and all of my fellow musicians who are here tonight. We are the true musicians. God bless. One love. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We've just witnessed 6 musicians who have received their Lifetime Award. They've earned it. It's a huge and very important endeavor. At this moment, we're going to be inviting Mr. Junior Jennings, otherwise known as Derby, to the podium. Derby is going to be the recipient of the Icon Award. There have only been 9 Icon Awards over the last 12 years that have been awarded, and the rest have been Julia Hides, Edmund Scott, Radley, Gazong, Melano McCoy, Dr. Melano McCoy, Dalmany Banks, Alan Bunny Miles, Edward Solomon, Lammy Seymour, and Wesley Howell, who's 105. The last one, the last year recipient of this award. So we invite Mr. Junior Jennings, otherwise known as Derby, to receive his award. Yes. Junior has been involved in music for the last 5 decades. He has had the gift of youth and the gift to hide his age. Junior has been involved in playing music from a tender age, and he was involved in music in some of the most interesting years in Jamaica, and he played for acts like Dennis Brown. And then there was a bit of a challenge regarding his mother's concern for him regarding the direction in which he was turning. And she decided that she was going to post him to the Cayman Islands in the 1960s for him to be with his dad. He was relocated here, and he continued his pursuit of music, and his mother's ambition was for him to become a lawyer or a physician. Junior decided to follow his heart and determined to continue onto the path of music, where he would not work a day in his life but enjoy teaching others how to do this. He has been here from the days of mosquitoes, where we, at that time, we would call mosquitoes our first militia, the national bird, because they were so prevalent. Many people don't know that we had 38 species of mosquitoes in the Cayman Islands, and we had the largest of mosquitoes per square mile in the world. So people who came here to live really wanted to be here. So Junior was one of those. And he started to play with notables like Mr. Nemhard. He started to play with Mr. Howell. And he's not stopped playing with Mr. Howell because Mr. Howell has not stopped playing music. And Mr. Howell is 105. So we look forward to a lot of music coming from Junior. He has continued in his path of music as a teacher of the guitar and piano. and I had the privilege of sending my son to become one of his students. And my son loved the music, but he was overshadowed by his sister who played both piano and four other instruments. And he said that he was going to be wealthy enough to hire musicians. So he left, but with the pleasant thought of always reminding himself that Mr. Jennings was a distraction from his scholastic pursuits. Junior still teaches music, and he still has an influence from generation to generation of Caymanians. And he has now availed himself of the instruments that have come to fore, including technology, in the internet, YouTube, and many other resources. Mr. Jennings is an important reason why so many have been successfully pursued music in the Cayman Islands. A significant part of who Mr. Jennings is his humility. You will hear his music more so than you will hear him. And he will tell you it's not so much about him. He's got a soft voice and a very talented set of hands. Mr. Jennings, thank you very much for being such an important part of our cultural thread. And at this moment, our president is going to be handing him the Icon Award, the 10th Icon Award in the history of the CMEA.
I'd like Mr. Alan Bunny Miles to come here because him and Mr. Jennings go way back. He's another musical icon. We would be remiss of ourselves if we didn't have him on stage. Mr. Lambert Seymour was here earlier because tonight we were supposed to have an icon band jamming. You were going to have Mr. Howell, Edward Solomon, who unfortunately can't be here because he's in the hospital. So please, if you could have your prayers and thoughts with Edward Solomon at this time. Lamy on bass, Derby on keyboards, Junior Derby Jennings on keyboards, Mr. Alan Bunny Miles on guitar, Edward Solomon on percussions, and Mr. Howell on saxophone. That was something I tried to put together for you guys tonight that didn't work out. But I just want to say something really quick about this gentleman here, Mr. Jennings, that I can speak to. And then I'd also like Mr. Alan Bunny Miles to add something to that. And the founder of the Music Association, Mr. Edlin Miles, his brother, to also add to that. Because Mr. Jennings is really deserving. In the 1980s, when I was in the juveniles, one of the most influential musicians on island who assisted us as childhood musicians to get on the scene was Mr. Jennings Derby. I'll never forget the many times that Lloyd, we couldn't go on stage to perform unless we had the okay that the keyboards and the instruments, we were playing the right things because Derby approved it. Later on in life, I became a father, and I sent my son to Mr. Jennings' school with the hopes that he would become a musician. That's how much I believe in Mr. Jennings. So I just want to say it's a well-deserved award. We've watched gentlemen like Benil, Miller, who was in the school with Gio at the time, come up to be accomplished musicians and to have their own band. And I want to say that none of that would be possible without you. And I just want to say how grateful we are to have you.
Good evening. I'd like to say that Mr. Jennings is a professional musician. One of the best, and I was so glad that he was part of my band for a couple of years. The last album that we did in Jamaica, which was an original album, Junior played on that album. And he has a song on that album that he composed himself, which calls Who Knows It, Feels It. It's original and it's instrumental. I would like everybody to hear this music. This is very, very good. This man plays his piano, his guitar, piano like a guitar, like saxophone, like anything. You want to hear this song. And I must give Mr. Jennings all the praise because he's a very good musician, one of the greatest.
Yeah, let me say my little two-piece. I call him JJ, Junior Jennings. My name for him is JJ. And, you know, we work together in the music business, and JJ is like, well, he's always a teacher, but the knowledge that he has about music is the best. I want to say that there have been many times that when we were rehearsing, that things didn't go right. JJ was always there to say, well, listen, this is how it is. This is what have to happen. Because of his experience and his knowledge in the music business, it gives me great, great pleasure to have known him as a musician and a friend, and to be on the stage with him while he received this award. Ladies and gentlemen, help me congratulate Mr. Jennings by giving him a big round of applause.
Thank you so much. First, I want to thank God for this privilege to be here, reflecting that so many of my colleagues have moved on, have passed on in a few short years. I lost my mom and several others. I want to give God thanks for keeping me. And I've been fortunate to see some of my work being manifested in some of these students being and going so far. And I'm sure the amount of talent that is here, I hope to be around to see when they hit the top. Again, music is my life and will always be. And as long as I have the strength to keep on going, I'll keep on doing what I'm doing. But don't call me Sammy. And it is so strange. I wonder how the MC remember to call me Derby. Because you folks out there know Derby is my football name. Again, I want to thank the President and his school for such a prestigious award, and hope to preserve it and keep it and pass it on to my kids. So on behalf of my family and I want to give special thanks to you all.
I'd also like to say that we're looking forward to another 40 years of your music as you follow in the footsteps of Mr. Howell. Mr. Jennings has a distinction not only as a talented musician, but he came to the fore when musicians were like him, who could read music, were singled out and sought after. They didn't have to go seek work, they were sought after. So he burst on the international scene in Jamaica because of his talent to read music, not only deliver it on an instrument, but also to read music. And he became a very sought after person. It was there that his mom got scared and decided to send him to Cayman. And moms know best, but we also got the best of him. Thank you very much for your award and your contribution to our cultural fabric. Our performance this evening would not be successful without you. Thank you very much for coming, each one of you. Please give yourself a round of applause. And we would like to thank the following sponsors who made this possible. Without them, we would not have this occasion. The Ministry of Culture and Tourism, the Ministry of Education, the Caymanian Times, and Radio Cayman. Each have been indispensable in the success of this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bonnie Miles just informed me that this album was the first and only recorded album live in the Cayman Islands. So I guess I am holding value and it's going to the right person. Thank you very much for coming. Each of you have made this a success. Tonight is important because it is a milestone in our cultural and musical history, and you have been a part of it. Have a successful night, and may you travel home safely.